Did you know that Pavia Island, nestled in the Venetian Lagoon, is considered one of the most haunted places on Earth? This cloistered isle, a stone's throw from the romantic city of Venice, holds a macabre past that belies its tranquil exterior. Its history is a chilling anthology of plague victims, tormented souls, and unhinged minds. Pavia Island was once a quarantine station for those afflicted with the plague, a grim sentinel of death that stood watch over the lagoon. As the centuries waned, its purpose morphed into something even more sinister, a mental asylum. Here, the troubled and the discarded were sent, out of sight and out of mind, their screams carried away by the wind. Today, Pavia Island lies abandoned, a forbidden relic of its tortured past. Its buildings crumble under the weight of countless untold stories, its silence interrupted only by the whispers of the forgotten. Stay tuned as we delve into the eerie history and chilling tales of Pavia Island. Pavia Island wasn't always a forbidden land. Its dark history began in the 14th century during the bubonic plague. Nestled between Venice and Lido in the Venetian Lagoon, this unassuming isle was once a bustling community. But as the Black Death swept across Europe, Pavia's fate took a chilling turn. It was transformed into a quarantine station, a last port of call for the doomed. Imagine, if you will, a makeshift hospital where the cure was often worse than the disease. The air, thick with fear and despair, echoed with the cries of the sick and dying. The island was swamped with plague victims from all walks of life, trapped in a nightmarish limbo. The living were often tossed in with the dead, the healthy with the sick. The island became a melting pot of disease, a breeding ground for the pestilence that ravaged the continent. The conditions were nothing short of horrific. And then there were the burials. Mass graves dug deep into the island's soil, the earth barely able to contain the dead. Some say as many as 100,000 souls were laid to rest in this forsaken place. The island was literally soaked in death, the very ground beneath your feet a macabre reminder of its morbid past. As the plague retreated, Pavia was left scarred and desolate. But the island's dark history was far from over. It was destined to become a place of suffering once more, a place where sanity would be stretched to its breaking point. But that's a story for another time. So the next time you find yourself in the Venetian Lagoon, spare a thought for Pavia, the plague island, a place where history whispers of pain and suffering, of death and despair. With such a grim past, it's no wonder that Pavia Island is believed to be haunted. The suffering on Pavia Island did not end with the plague. In the 1920s, it became home to a mental asylum. After the plague had claimed thousands of lives, the island fell silent for a few decades, but it was a silence that wouldn't last. In the roaring 20s, Pavia was transformed into a mental institution. Here, the island's grim history took on an even darker hue. The asylum was not a haven for the mentally ill, but rather a place of nightmares. The patients, many of whom were not mentally ill but rather victims of a society that didn't understand them, were subjected to inhumane treatment. They were often isolated, neglected, and some even endured physical abuse. The chilling wails of the tormented echoed throughout the island, adding to its already sinister reputation. But the darkest chapter in the asylum's history is undoubtedly the legend of a sadistic doctor who was said to have performed brutal experiments on helpless patients. This man, whose name has been lost to time, supposedly conducted crude lobotomies and other horrifying procedures without the use of anesthesia. The patient's screams were drowned out by the relentless crashing of the waves against the island's rocky shores. The tale takes an even grimmer turn with the doctor's fate. It is said that he was driven to madness by the relentless cries and spectral visions of his victims. One fateful night, he climbed to the top of the asylum's bell tower and threw himself to his death. Some say he was pushed by an unseen force, a vengeful spirit seeking justice. Though the asylum has long been abandoned, its chilling legacy remains. The stories of the suffering endured by those unfortunate souls confined within its walls have seeped into the very fabric of the island. Even now, visitors report hearing unexplained sounds, like the distant tolling of a bell or the soft whispers of the wind that sound eerily like human cries. The echoes of the tormented souls from the asylum are said to still haunt the island, Over the years, many who dared to step foot on Pavia Island have reported eerie experiences. The whispers of Pavia's past seem to echo in the present, with countless tales of chilling encounters that would make even the bravest among us shudder. Some visitors have reported seeing apparitions, shadowy figures that flit around the periphery of their vision only to disappear when they turn to look. These specters are often described as wearing the tattered remains of what appears to be hospital gowns, a chilling reminder of the island's dark history as a plague quarantine station and later as an asylum. Disembodied voices are another unnerving phenomenon often reported on Pavia. Visitors recount hearing hushed whispers in languages they couldn't understand, echoing through the empty corridors of the abandoned buildings. Some have even heard blood-curdling screams, as if from a person in extreme distress, that abruptly cut off, leaving a chilling silence in their wake. But perhaps the most disturbing experiences are those of intense, unexplainable feelings of dread. Visitors often describe a profound sense of unease that washes over them as soon as they set foot on the island. This feeling intensifies the deeper they venture into the island, becoming almost unbearable in certain areas, particularly around the old hospital building. Even the local fishermen who are familiar with the waters around Pavia avoid venturing too close to the island. They tell their own tales of strange occurrences, such as their nets being inexplicably shredded or their boats being rocked by unseen forces. These tales, shared in hushed whispers, only add to the island's ominous reputation. The multitude of these chilling encounters, each more terrifying than the last, have created an aura of fear and mystery around Pavia Island. Whether these experiences are the product of overactive imaginations or genuine paranormal activity remains a topic of debate. But one thing is certain: these chilling encounters further cement Pavia's reputation as a haunted island. Today, Pavia Island stands desolate and forbidden, its dark past a stark contrast to the serene Venetian Lagoon surrounding it. This isolated piece of land, once teeming with life, now lies silent, its eerie tranquility echoing the chilling tales that have been passed down through generations. Now, the island is a restricted area, a no-man's land, off-limits to locals and tourists alike. The Italian government, recognizing the island's infamous reputation, has made multiple attempts to sell this forsaken place. Yet these efforts have been in vain. The island's haunted past seems to loom over its present, deterring potential buyers. However, Pavia's reputation has not caused everyone to shy away. In fact, it has sparked a peculiar kind of fascination among certain circles. Paranormal enthusiasts from around the globe have shown an unyielding interest in this island of horrors. They are drawn to the island's chilling history, keen to explore the tales of tormented souls and eerie occurrences that have made Pavia infamous. Despite the government's best efforts to keep the curious at bay, tales of the island's haunted past continue to circulate, fueling the public's fascination. Ghostly whispers of the plague victims, the tormented patients, and the mad doctor who once inhabited the island echo in the minds of those who dare to delve into Pavia's history. And so the island remains a paradox. Its serene beauty, a stark contrast to the gruesome tales that have been woven into its very soil. Its deserted buildings, a silent testimony to the suffering it has witnessed. Its isolation, a stark reminder of the fear it instills in the hearts of many. Pavia Island, with its grim past and chilling tales, continues to intrigue and terrify us, a haunting reminder of the darker chapters of human history. From a plague quarantine station to a cruel mental asylum, Pavia Island has witnessed unimaginable horrors. In the heart of Italy's scenic Venice Lagoon, this island bears a haunting past that continues to echo in the present. It's been an epicenter of death, suffering and madness, a plague isolation point, a battleground and a mental institution. Its chilling history is etched into the very soil, supposedly mixed with the ashes of thousands of plague victims. The tales of paranormal encounters, the whispers of restless spirits, and the eerie silence that now engulfs the island only amplify its reputation as one of the most haunted places on Earth. The island stands as a dark testament to human suffering and the atrocities of the past. It's a silent sentinel of the lagoon, holding secrets and stories that are as chilling as they are compelling. Whether you believe in the supernatural or not, the harrowing history of Pavia Island is enough to send a shiver down anyone's spine.